Recording. All right. So welcome anybody watching this to the second portion of our unfortunately split up session of Laser Kittens, because we were trying to do it on StreamYard and that didn't work. And so put us in that view. There we go. Now we're all here. And so hopefully this will be a little more stable. StreamYard was always good before, but I realize I don't think I've used that service since everybody was suddenly using streaming things. So it's gotten a little overloaded.
Also, if it helps, Roll20 actually has video and audio in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't like their video and audio. It's always been really clunky for me, but I guess that's an additional backup that we've got. Okay, so I think we are good now to continue. So I think where we broke off before things started to get really funky, Brigadier Fuzzykins had just invited us to come explore the laundry with him, and we all seem interested, and Cheeseball is exceptionally dirty and might be able to make a major impact on this laundry situation. So just how is everybody else feeling about the laundry mission?
Fern thinks that this could be an excellent opportunity to try and get Cheeseball clean, since there's apparently a giant machine that all it does is remove dirt and things. It is a brilliant plan.
Gilly asks, what is dirt?
I think Cheeseball just comes over to Gilly and just like one paw on the head and like leaves this giant like wad of lint on Gilly's head.
Gilly like does that little like arched cat hiss, like
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I was clean and I took a nap and I woke up like this.
And Midnight says that she thinks that she'll be very good at this because her black fur shows up everywhere. Good point.
I think the humans wear a lot of light colored clothes, so that'll be real good. Okay. So who's brave enough to go outside the door? Follow.
Fern is.
Definitely Midnight.
I'll go. Sure. I'm just gonna follow the crowd because that's what Gilly does.
Okay. So why don't we, if it sounds like Fern's the most enthusiastic to charge on out there, why don't we do a bid to see what you run into when you leave the room?
Okay, remind me how that works.
All right, so you're going to pick one card from your hand and put it down. It's basically the same way you bid for class captain.
And these aren't like preset things that can happen. It's just like...
Yeah, whoever wins the bid gets to describe it. So if I win, it's going to be like, Fern's going to run into trouble as soon as she leaves the room. If she wins, she can decide something cool happens.
I see.
All right, so flip it over.
I still have to, sorry, I have to relaunch Roll20. I'm on a different device, so.
Okay. All right, so you won that bid there by a good amount. So tell us what happens when Fern runs out of the room. What does she find waiting for us?
Fern runs out of the room and she finds this is a strange, supernatural-ish kind of game.
It doesn't have to be strange or supernatural-ish, especially if it's not laser related, especially.
Oh, okay. And she sees, well, she's been down here before, so it's like this one of her favorite long rugs because it's a hallway. So she runs and she jumps on it and it slides a little bit as she goes. It's very cool.
Okay. Yeah. And Cheeseball kind of pokes out after her. Whoa! That was cool.
Yes.
And Midnight runs and jumps onto the back of the carpet or the rug to see if she can do it too.
All right. So do you want to, is that just like a fun kitten thing, or do you want to bid to see if you can really slide around?
Let's go with a bid.
All right. So hang on, I gotta refresh the two hands that did something a second ago. All right. So yeah, so I'll bid against you as class captain. All right, so flip them over. All right, so you win there. So tell us how it goes.
So Midnight jumps onto the back end, and it in between, and because Fern is on the other end, the rug bunches up in the middle. And that's how they leave it.
And so I think, you know, after all that, we see from the end of the hallway, Brigadier Fuzzykins poke his floofy head out, and he says, "Are you kittens done playing around? We have important work to do in the laundry room. Come on." And then he, turns around. We see his tail go by as he stalks out. It's kind of around the corner. Down at the end of the hallway.
It. I want his tail.
Are you going to pounce on his tail?
I am.
All right.
I have to. It's
All right.
so fluffy and right there.
Make your bid to pounce on Brigadier Fuzzykins' tail.
Well, this could be a good place to dump a low card. Because this could not possibly end well. Did you put out yours?
Yep. Flip it over. All right. Yeah, that's not going to end well. All right. So as class captain, I won that bid. And so, yeah, so you pounce and you get his tail real good.
Oh, whoops.
And he was not expecting that. And so he yowls. And then we we hear a human, and so when you went around the corner, you could see the laundry room was like right there around that corner. We were just about there, and yeah, so he yowls, and we hear a human voice from elsewhere in the house say, like, "Oh my gosh, what was that? Oh, I hope those cats aren't getting into the laundry again." And we hear human footsteps coming. And Brigadier Fuzzykins says, "Now look what you've done."
I try to use my laser.
Go for it. Go for it.
So my laser is few, I think. And I want to try to use it on us to make us appear as one cat.
Okay. Well,
so we can consolidate under
consolidate into one cat. Okay. Well, flip it over and see if you're going to be able to do that. So flip those.
The one after the red 6, right?
Yeah. So flip all 4 of those cards that are in the stack there.
Okay. 1, 2. Oh, right. You have to add them up. My math brain turns off after 5 p.m.
That's all right. It's clear. Oh, yeah. So you're way
wow,
ahead. We don't need to add up the exact numbers. You are clearly way ahead. So describe what this looks like. Tell us how this all happens.
So I'm assuming that like the human is probably going to only expect the professor out, not the foster kitten. So I imagine Brigadier Fuzzykins as like this enormous sheepdog kind, except it's a cat, not a sheepdog. And so I successfully make us camouflage under all that fur. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, and like normally I guess that would appear suspect, but maybe it's enough to like convince the human. You guys can embellish with detail as much as you want, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm envisioning.
Yeah, I like the idea. We've kind of merged with the Brigadier for a bit.
Yeah, like Schrodinger's
And
cat. Kind of.
the
Parallel
Brigadier
dimension.
suddenly has one paw that's just like filthy.
And Fern is totally the tail. She was like on it.
And just like a black spot.
Uh,
Gilly's a
Where did
hairball.
that come from?
yeah, I think the human. We'll say it's Carol. All right, so she walks in and she looks down at the Brigadier, and she's a little bit confused because he's got a black spot suddenly that he didn't have before, or that she doesn't remember him having a black spot. That's very odd. She's had Brigadier Fuzzykins since he was a tiny kitten, but in any case, she's like, "What are you doing? Get out of here! Get out of here!" And she goes over and closes the door to the laundry room and I have told you, stay out of the laundry. That's not for kitties. Jeez, I've got company coming over. And she walks out. And I feel like this is maybe a good place to end the scene so that we can, pass the baton of class captain on to someone else. So the sort of end of scene housekeeping, we are going to get rid of all of Gilly's laser cards since that was used. Then you're going to get a fresh 5 laser cards. Still getting used to drawing these cards in Roll20. All right, so you got a fresh laser there. So then I'm going to draw 4 cards and I will hand them out to the 3 of you as I see fit, and then you can swap them to your laser, and then since my character was in the scene, the 3 of you will decide after I do all that whether you want to give me the last card that's left, whether I deserve it, good or bad, depending on what happens. Okay, so I'm sorry, Fern, but that was a big mistake going after the Brigadier like that. So I'm going to
It
make
was worth it.
that red pen. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So you're going to swap that, but you get to swap it with any card in your laser. So you could just swap it with your existing red 10.
Yeah,
And,
that's what
you'd
I'm
be
inclined
worse
to do.
off. And when you swap it, it can be a face down or a face up card when you do that. So if you swap it with a face down card, you'll turn it face down because the face up, face down kind of records how many scenes you've been in, building towards that. Like you have to use your laser in the 4th scene you're in, but you can swap with a face down one. And so then, so Fern kind of caused the problem, but Gilly kind of corrected the problem. So Gilly, I'm going to let you have that that black 7. So you can get rid of one. And for you, all your cards are face down. So, just get rid of one of them and put the 7 in there.
I don't know how to tuck it back there, but it's the last one.
Yeah. Okay. And then Midnight, I'll go ahead and let you have the black 4 there. So, and so you probably want to swap it with a face down.
Yep. So then that one gets turned back over.
Yeah. Would you like to see what the card is that you just got rid of?
Sure.
Oh, it was a black 9.
Oh.
Oh,
Dang.
that's the curse of going after one of the flipped over, the ones that was already flipped over. All right, and so do the 3 of you think that I should get that last black 4 or not?
Sure.
Okay, so I will swap it for a face down one, and let me see what I lost. Oh, that worked out okay for me. All right.
And Cheeseball was pretty obedient.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it looks like 2 of us need more cards there. All right, so that's kind of one scene. So we are now bidding for class captain for our next scene. So I will sit out from the bidding since I just was class captain. So who else has an idea for where the next scene should go?
I have an idea. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that Carol thinks that since Brigadier Fuzzykins has a black spot, that it must be paint or something else that got on him. So it's kitten bath time.
Okay, so put your bid down on the desktop there. Okay, does anyone else have an idea for our next scene?
I'm still excited to do the thing at the end of the hallway at some point, but I'm happy to go next because this bath time thing sounds fun too.
Okay. All right, so you're seating, and Christina, I know you said you weren't too keen on being class captain in general, and I'm sitting out. So it looks like you, by default, Olivia, you win the bid.
Okay, so it gets discarded anyway, right?
Yeah, so we discard that, and I'll deal you a new one to refill your hand. All right, so set the scene for us. How is this all starting?
So as the laser's effects wear off, the kittens tumble back out onto the floor, and so the black spot isn't there anymore. But and neither is the fur ball. But Brigadier Fuzzykins is not very happy. He says, "Now look what you've done. We can't get into the laundry room, and now it looks like we're gonna have to take a bath. That seems like, I think, an ideal punishment for you, but I'm going to get myself out of here because I don't want a bath. But you have to have a bath." So Brigadier Fuzzykins runs off, and then the kittens can hear Carol approaching, wearing gloves to keep kitten claws from clawing her when she picks them up.
Okay, so bath scene, Cheeseball's got to be in it. So I'm flipping over a card. Anybody else that's going to be in the scene, go ahead and flip a card to signify that. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think Cheeseball is a little bit dejected because he has had a lot of baths since he came to the Knoll Street School for Wayward Kittens, and they don't seem to do much for very long. But he's very sad. He kind of slumps on the floor. Another bath? I don't like baths.
No one likes baths.
Gilly tries to comfort Cheeseball, but in the process gets more orange dust on her.
Oh no, Gilly, here you need a bath too now. I'm sorry.
Gilly doesn't mind baths. She's too dumb to like.
Cheeseball goes to try to like lick you clean a little bit and ends up just kind of making it worse.
Yeah, and then I do the arched cat thing, and then I like kind of like, I don't know why I'm doing that, but like my reaction is to like,
Yeah.
And
I'm already plenty clean.
And Midnight is covered in the other Midnight's covered in all the kitten's other fur, so she's just like almost looks like a tortoiseshell cat at this point. So she realizes she's not going to get out of this without getting wet. So Carol walks up the steps and sees that the kittens are there, but what's the teacher's name again? Brigadier Fuzzykins. Brigadier Fuzzykins is nowhere to be found, but dirty kittens are there to be found. So she begins to pick them up. Let's see, she goes for Fern first.
Oh, okay. I want to use my laser.
Oh.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. I just flip over the rest of them?
Yep.
This is going to be awesomely bad. Oh.
Oh no. Okay. So you're.
Fern is just not got it together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So your
As a
laser.
reminder, my laser is zoo, zoo, zoo,
Oh no.
which causes non-feline critters to show up.
All right. So yeah, class captain, tell us how this laser dramatically backfires.
Zoo, zoo, zoo. Let's say that unless anyone is creeped out by creepy crawlies,
I'm all
that
right.
a bunch of creepy crawly bugs like burst out of the kitten's fur and jump away into the hallway, and Carol is like, "Oh my goodness, you are filthy! You're going to the bath right now, and you're going to get a flea bath too."
Oh no, I've had 4 of those. Those are the worst.
Fern tries to catch one of the beetles.
Is that something you want to bid on?
Sure.
Let's see. I'll bid something for the beetle. Do I pull out of my own deck for this, or
Yeah.
out of the?
Yeah. Do it from your own hand.
Okay. And you just barely lost.
I barely lost.
So you, your paw gets on the beetle, but the beetle just slips out and runs underneath the laundry room door.
Oh.
And then the rest of the bugs, like, seem to follow it in there. So we've got a future potential bug issue. So Carol picks up the rest of the kittens, and the next, well, let's say she picks up 2. She has to pick up 2 at a time. So she's got Fern, and then Midnight, who is going to just accept this. She's like, I'm not getting out of this. And they're the first 2 who are brought into the bathroom, and Carol isn't going to try and pick up more than 2 kittens at the same time, because that's a bad idea. So she puts the 2 kittens down into the bathroom and closes the door so they can't get out, and then goes back and walks towards the remaining kittens. Do any of you do anything?
Fern tries to play with the toilet paper roll.
Okay, you want to bid for it?
We're in the bathroom, right?
Well, I really feel like these people
Yeah.
would have known to put it on backwards so that it probably spins but doesn't actually do anything dramatic.
Okay, let's go with that.
Okay.
And do any of the kittens who are still in the hallway try to escape?
I think
I do.
Cheeseball will make a break for it.
Okay, what direction are you planning on going? Do you want to go? Let's say, are we on like the second floor of the building or on the first floor? Probably.
You decide as class captain if it hasn't been established yet.
I get to decide that?
Yeah, you can just decide.
Let's say that we're in a room on the first floor, and the laundry room is next to the staircase. Do you make a run for the staircase or towards the kitchen?
I think Cheeseball's going for the kitchen.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay. There's my
I'm gonna have
bid.
you make a bid for that.
Yep. All right. So I bid a red 4.
And I've got a black 4.
All right. So it doesn't go well for me. Tell me how it goes unwell
Yes, it does
for
not
me.
go well for you. Carol catches sight of you running into the kitchen and is like, "Oh no, you don't!" and grabs you. You don't even get into the kitchen. You just made it almost to the doorway, but then are snatched up.
Could I get like
Now, the last,
just a glimpse of like the food in the kitchen before I get snatched
yes,
up?
you get just a glimpse
Rub
of
it
the
in.
food in the kitchen.
The Carol was making a
There
tuna
is,
sandwich. No.
yes, there is a tuna sandwich on the counter. And she's like, naughty kitty, that's my tuna sandwich. And then runs back to where the last remaining kitten is, so that's Gilly Toes. Does Gilly Toes resist being picked up?
No, she doesn't. She just feels very hopeless and kind of like, does a little kitten ragdoll thing and just
Oh, man.
sighs.
Okay, so the remaining kittens are in her hands, and she walks over to the bathroom door and uses the corner of her elbow to open the door, and with the intention of putting the kittens on the ground. Do either of the other kittens on the floor try to escape the bathroom?
Yes. Stentor, can you
Yes.
replace the cards in our
Oh.
deck, or is the
Sorry.
So I am going to make you bid for that.
Okay. Sorry.
I still only have 4 cards.
Yep. There we go. You should have 5 now.
Okay. Okay. Oh, it's a tie.
Okay,
Which means,
so
doesn't that mean the
so if there's a tie, what happens is some other event intrudes and makes the original bid situation in some way no longer relevant. So the scene gets disrupted by some new thing happening.
Who proposes anything?
The class captain. I mean, anybody can throw out a suggestion, but the class captain decides. So what happens that makes whether or not the kittens escape from the bathroom no longer the pressing issue that we thought it was?
let's say that Carol hears the telephone ringing, and and she's like, "Oh no!" And so she seems to have forgotten the kittens and leaves the door open and runs to catch the phone to get her phone out.
Okay.
And with the intent of getting them later, but this leaves the kittens open to do anything.
Fern would like to redeem herself by getting into the laundry room. I'm not sure how she's going to do that, but that is her goal. Unless that's the end of the scene.
And I think we should probably make that the end
Okay.
of the scene.
Okay. All right. So I put out 4 cards for our class captain to. All right. So all black cards there. So you can decide who, if anyone, of the other 3 of us get any of those cards for our laser.
Where are the cards?
The ones that are flipped over on the right-hand side.
There are 2 5s and 2 2s.
On the right. Oh! I didn't know I could scroll over there. I've never
Okay.
used Roll20 before.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Let's.
Do I also get a new laser
Yes.
deck?
So I just learned you can like draw a box around things to select it all. Say normal.
So yeah, I'll give one of these black 5s to Gilly Toes, who was going along with getting her
Oh.
bath.
Okay. Thank you.
So that's 5 there. You can switch it with any of those.
I'm curious what I'm losing here, but all right, that's a good trade.
Oh, yeah, that's a good trade.
And Fern and Cheeseball were naughty cats, so they don't get any. And it's
Okay.
up to you whether I get anything as Midnight.
Yeah, so the three of us can decide if we want to give Midnight a black 5 or a black 2. I mean, Midnight did go along with the bath as well, so by that logic, I'm willing to offer the black 5 if the other 2 of you are in agreement.
That's fine. I figure she should get a card.
Okay.
I don't have strong opinions on which one.
Okay.
Okay, I will discard one. Put it there is a turned over card. So what did I lose?
Oh.
Oh shoot.
Yup.
I had another good one there.
Yup. Okay. So, class captain bidding time. So,
Oh no, I think I accidentally took one of Gilly Toe's cards.
oh,
Wait. No. Or did I?
No,
No, I
Both
didn't.
have
No, I didn't.
5.
I have 5. Right for me.
yep.
Nope, it's fine.
Okay.
I just was confused.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So, class captain bidding time. So, Olivia was just class captain. So, between the others of us, so my idea is that the phone was ringing because our visitor Maisha has just shown up.
I like that.
So, Marley, do you have a counter idea?
Perhaps. It's pretty similar to the Maisha one. Let's do the Maisha one.
Okay. Yeah, and you can always bid with a very similar idea, just if you want to be the class captain to run it, or yeah, you can just concede, which is convenient. Oops, I just deleted that, but that was a red 8 that I was just dumping from my hand. So let me get another one. Everybody else is at 5 there. Okay. Yeah, so at the end of that other scene, Carol had just rushed off because the phone was ringing, and we hear her go down to the door, and we hear the door open, and we can hear her say, "Oh, Maisha, thanks for coming over. You're a little early, but that's cool. Come on in." And just at that moment, Brigadier Fuzzykins pops back up. And it turns out he was there's a laundry hamper in the bathroom, and he was hiding inside that. And so the hamper opens and we see him, top of his head pop out of the laundry hamper. And he says, "I know this Maisha. She does not like cats. Can't have a person that doesn't like cats in our house."
Well, maybe she just hasn't met the right cat. Maybe we should try and win her over.
Charm her.
Bring her presents.
Maybe if we rub up against her leg, she'll like us more.
Oh, yes, with our very best purrs.
Brigadier Fuzzykins nods and says, yes, a charm offensive. This is a good idea. I charge you with this project.
Mhm.
Win over Maisha. Get her to love cats. And then he goes back down to the laundry hamper.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to flip over a thing. We're flipping over things, right? Because we're all in the scene.
Flip over one if you're going to be in the scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
It's a black
Cheese
one
Ball will
for
definitely
once.
be in the scene.
Oh my God, Cheese Ball, your laser.
Yeah.
Your
Oh my
laboratory
gosh,
laser
that's
is
gonna
going
be
to
a
be
big
epic.
laser.
Yeah, my laser's going to do quite a lot here.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Yes. So I think we established that we were upstairs, right? Is that right?
Or downstairs
Or
is
we're
where
downstairs.
the bathroom was.
Right. Okay. So I'm guessing the front door is probably on the same level that we're on.
Yep.
So it's just kind of around another corner of the hallway. And so I think Cheeseball is going to go on a scouting mission to peek around the corner. And so this is a bidding kind of situation, I think. And so since I am the class captain, that I'm going to put out my bid from my hand, and then I'm going to draw a random card as the counter bid, since I am the class captain. So I can't bid against myself, really. So I put out a ready. Oh, and the card I drew was a black 6. So, so I think Cheeseball is successful at not drawing attention. He peeks out and he sees Maisha come in, and she has clearly brought this. This seems like it's going to be a dinner party or something, because Maisha has brought some sort of a covered dish. There's like tinfoil on it and stuff, and it smells delicious. Whatever's in there, whatever people food Maisha has brought, smells delicious. And so Cheeseball creeps back to the other kittens and says, they're going to eat food. Maybe we could eat food with them and show them how adorable we are.
Yes, yes, we should. Maisha brought food, so we should bring food too. That seems to be what they're doing.
Oh.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
We should
Did
find
we see
something.
those beetles? Did we
Yes,
see those
beetles
go
would
into
be
the laundry
perfect.
room?
Okay.
But
So
how
if
do we
anyone...
get into the laundry room?
Well, you know, sometimes your paw kind of fits under doors. I haven't tried the laundry room door yet. But it might be enough to like skitter a beetle out if we're careful.
Would you like to bid to try to do that?
Sure.
All right. 6, and oh, you got it. So tell us what happens there.
So she lies in wait at the edge of the laundry room door, and you know, yeah, since it's an internal door, it doesn't quite fit flush all the way. So there is, in fact, a little bit of a gap there. That's how the bugs got in there to begin with. And so she's down there, and her tail is twitching. Then all of a sudden, her paw just shoots out in this sweeping motion, and she pulls out a couple of different bugs onto the main part of the hallway. So anyone who wants one can grab one.
Midnight pounces and gets a grasshopper.
I think, can I bid on myself failing? Is that how it works?
Yeah, if you're gonna go for it, you could bid to see if you...
I have certainly dumped red cards when I thought it was thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
Let me do that. So you bid from your laser or your hand again? Sorry.
Your hand.
My hand,
So,
okay.
yeah, just click on the
Sure.
number
Yeah.
for your hand there, open it up, and drag one out.
Sure. I guess I just kind of revealed what I was trying to do, but
That's okay. This
yeah,
isn't
I'm
like
gonna,
a strategy game to win. This is like
oh yeah.
learn to be a silly kitty. Okay.
So I think I lose, right?
Right.
So then the class captain dictates how I lose, right?
Yeah. So tell me what you were trying to do, and I'll tell you how it went wrong.
I was trying to get a beetle, but
Okay.
I have a C in geography, so very poor sense of place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think what happens is that you jump towards the beetle and you land beside it, and then it jumps up on your head
Ugh.
and like grabs you by the ears, and now you've got a beetle stuck to your head.
It's like taking me for a ride.
It's one of the ones with the pincers on it.
And you hear its tiny beetle voice say, "Yeehaw!"
Oh gosh.
What does Fuzzball do?
Cheeseball. So I think,
Oh, Cheeseball.
yeah. So Cheeseball, I think, is going to try to grab a beetle as well. So I might as well bid for that. So it's going off the. Oh, and manages to do it by 1 point. Yeah, so Cheeseball grabs at, there's like a group of them together and tries to grab them all and manage to grab like one and like hold it in his toe beans. And he says,
I'm
all
going
right.
to declare my previous 10 was enough for Fern to also secure one for
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, I think so. And so Cheeseball says, okay, we've got our contribution. Let's head to the kitchen.
Yes.
And so we all troop off into the kitchen.
Let's say that Midnight's grasshopper is starting to try and escape, and let's bid to see whether it escapes as she's walking into the kitchen.
Okay. So can you keep control of that grasshopper? And you cannot. And so I think that what happens is that we're headed towards the kitchen, and that grasshopper eludes your grasp and jumps up onto the table and lands right in Maisha's contribution, which was I'm going to say it's a chocolate cake that she brought. And the grasshopper lands right on it. And in fact, why don't we say it's one of those like dirt cakes that's got like the gummy worms and stuff on it? So it takes her a second to notice. Oh, wait, one of those is real. And she screams and she drops the cake on the floor, and it splatters. And so Cheeseball gets hit with like this wave of chocolate frosting and kind of absorbs the blow for the rest of the kittens and is now even filthier.
Does Cheeseball enjoy being filthier? Like, is this an act of bravery or an act of like self-indulgence?
It's an act of bravery. I think he doesn't. He is reconciled to his filth. Okay. So he doesn't enjoy it or indulge it, but he also isn't like, as bothered by it as many kittens might be, just because he's got to deal with it all the time.
So Fern tries to salvage the situation because some of that probably splattered on Maisha, right?
Yep.
So she is going to drop her beetle and go over and start trying to clean up Maisha with her tongue. Give her a proper cat bath.
Okay, so bid to see what happens here.
No, I'm gonna save the day. That's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Oh,
Ooh.
and you do it. Tell us how that goes.
So yeah, so the beetle getting dropped just gets kind of lost in the chaos. So luckily there was not a further bug alarming moment to upset Maisha. Fern comes up and with her best purrs and her windy tail, just starts trying to like sweetly clean up Maisha, and she's still allergic, but at least she's only like getting licked on the legs, so Maisha is finding it kind of adorable, though perhaps still kind of upset about the situation in general.
Yeah, it's I think Carol's like, oh Maisha, I'm so sorry, I thought I put these cats in their room. Let me get that. And Maisha's like, oh, this one's this one's okay. It's kind of cute. And so I think then Cheeseball is going to use his laser because we've got a disaster on our hands, and he wants to try to help clean this up. So this is gonna go pretty well here. Oh yeah, all black cards. Oh, an extreme amount of black cards. Okay.
That is in the 30s.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to think big here because his idea was just to, all of the mess that's around, he's got the power of the litter box. He was just going to like suck it all into the litter box where it would be contained. But with the result like that, you got to get something big here. Something big and litter box related. So
maybe it clumps. Clumping is a good property of litter.
That's true. Yeah, so all of the mess, all of the dirt, even the like fuzz that was on Cheeseball from the beginning, gets sucked away into this shiny new litter box that just materializes in the living room, that smells sweet and clean, and Maisha's allergies get sucked into this litter box as well. So she's like mid sneeze while petting Fern, and it goes away. She just like suddenly she can breathe, and she's kind of stunned because that's a very sudden transition. And she's like, "Wait a minute, Carol, I think I'm not allergic anymore." She picks up Fern and like rubs Fern under her nose, and like breathes in her fur scent, and just, I'm cured. I don't know how that happened. You're magical, kitty.
Why, thank you.
And Cheeseball's like, why does she get the credit? And Carol says, let me get something for the cats to eat, and then we can have our dinner. And I think that's where I'll end the scene.
That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
I feel like the story arc ends with Fern getting adopted by Nisha.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm totally in favor of
I
that.
ship that.
Yeah. Okay, so let me reset my laser quickly here. Okay, so cards to distribute. Okay, oh, we got some bad ones and only one kind of good one. I don't know if anybody did anything that bad. Well, wait, so whose was the grasshopper?
That was midnight.
That was midnight. Okay. So that's an understandable thing. So I'm going to make you take the red 4. I'm not going to make you take the red 10 for that. You lost control of it, but it's
I'll
like,
just switch it out with.
yeah, so you can switch it out with anything you've got there. So probably one of the face downs. And
Yeah, let's do that.
and then
another red 4.
Oh, the exact same red 4, like same suit
So
and everything.
Yes,
So it doesn't change anything. Right. And so Fern, I think you had a good scene, so you can have the black 3 if you want it. And then Gilly didn't do anything to deserve a red card, so I will not make you take one of those.
Okay. I didn't do much of anything this scene. So
Yeah, so if you didn't end up doing a lot, you end up just not getting a card either way, right?
okay.
You didn't demonstrate your learning, but you also didn't demonstrate your lack thereof. So, it's kind of neutral if you end up having a scene where you don't do a lot.
Okay.
Okay, so but then the other 3 of you can decide.
Cheeseball sort of saved the day, so I don't think Cheeseball deserves any red cards.
He did the big save the day move at the end.
Okay. So I'll just get rid of those. All right.
There's need a way to like tuck a card behind the other card, so there's no send it back, is there?
I don't think so. Oh no, there is. At least I have the option that says to front and to back when I right click on it. If you don't, here I will switch those. Yeah, I wonder if that is a function that only the host can do.
Possibly.
There might be a way. I don't know Roll20 real well, so I don't know if there's a way to give that power to other people. So just checking. Gilly, I only see 4.
7's down at the
black 7's on the bottom is mine. It's just
oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's down.
Got lost down there. Okay.
Order. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it's behind. It was behind everybody's personal icon there on my view. That's why I didn't see it there. Okay, we're good then. All right, so that wraps that scene. And so I've got 9:01 on my clock. Do folks want another break, or are we good to just keep on keeping on?
How many more scenes are we doing?
As many as we want to do. Whenever we feel like we're done or have had sufficient kitten adventures, we can kind of just agree to call it.
I also wanted to sort of check in with everyone because I seem to have come up with one of the more rambunctious cats. And I feel like I'm often the one like sort of taking action in the scene. I want to make sure you guys are all enjoying your play and feeling like you're getting the appropriate agency and spotlight and stuff like that.
I feel fine.
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
I would like to take a break though,
Okay.
like
So-
a 5-minute bio break.
Okay, let's do that. 5 minutes and see everyone at 7 after the hour.
Okay. Lasers.
Pew pew pew.
How do you guys put on the really cool backgrounds?
It's under preferences.
Preferences, more
Yeah,
participants.
you have to find your own image. But under preferences, there's a virtual backgrounds button.
I see. Where's preferences?
I'm on the Mac, so it's under zoom.us and then about Zoom and then
Oh, okay.
preferences.
On the web app. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure where it is on the web app. All right, should we get back into our game here?
Mhm.
So, like I was saying before, with this game, sometimes there's a clear story arc that emerges, and you kind of play till that finishes. Other times, you just kind of do as many scenes as you all feel like doing with that set of characters, and then wrap it up. So the slot is technically scheduled for a 4-hour slot, so we can go that long if we want. But if at any point people feel like, all right, we've kind of, done what we want to do with these characters and explored this world sufficiently, then we can just kind of agree to move to, there's a short epilogue section that we do at the end. All right, so I was class captain last time. So who has an idea for the next scene?
We still haven't tried to explore the door at the end of the hallway. That's
Okay.
on the list.
We have not.
I like
Did you
that.
want to do it, or were you requesting that I do that since I pitched it originally? I'm up for either.
Yeah, how about you?
Okay.
All right, so I guess we kind of got consensus that Marley will be our class captain
Cool. I'll
with
ditch
that
that
scene
card.
idea. So you can go ahead and discard one card as your bid, that your unopposed bid that you made there, and I'll give you another one. All right, so tell us how
Flip
this
the cards
scene
if you
ends.
haven't already. To show you were in the scene, I assume everyone's in the scene.
I'll be in the scene. Oh, laser card. Now, much different than the last one did, but
Let's see.
Right. So, yeah, it's always been a little bit mysterious because, like, you guys we've all managed to get into pretty much every part of the house, even the parts that Carol doesn't really want us in, the laundry room, stuff like that. But there's this one room that she's just super careful about, and no kitten has ever like managed to scale it. Like, she has the special thing, like, it's not just that it has a door, which is hard enough, but it's like there's a baby gate in front of the door. So, like, even when she goes in, she's like stepping over something to get in. So you can't just like scoot in after her. That move totally doesn't work. But yeah, today is the day. You have decided there must be something totally amazing in there, and you're going to find out what it is. So, thoughts on how you're going to do this?
Let's say that we go to inspect the door to see if we can find any weaknesses.
Okay. So, yeah, you're looking at the door. Yeah, the baby gate, that you look at it, like, a couple of the bars are a little further apart. And, like, your professor totally couldn't get in. He's way too big. But you're tiny little kitten, so you think you could have a way through it as long as you actually got the door open. Getting the door open is going to be extra tricky, but
Okay, I think
it's not one of those round doorknobs, it's one of those lever ones. So maybe that's possible,
So I think Midnight is going to use her laser to figure out a way to get the door open, because Midnight's laser is clue to learn information about something. So
Okay, bring
I am
it.
going to flip over the last card, which,
Yeah, I was gonna say I
It's-
think it's mathematically impossible for you to lose at this point. But
yeah, it's still pretty decent, but it's a success. It is a success of 9.
okay, so using your previous knowledge of doors and your laser outcomes, so you don't think it's actually locked. Like sometimes doors are like locked, and no matter how much you fiddle with the doorknobs, this is a thing you've heard about, that they just don't open. You don't think it's like that. You think it's just closed. You think maybe it's latched, and it's not like one of those. It's got like this levery thing, and you think if you could pull down on the lever and push at the same time, you could get it open.
Okay, I think I know how to get the door open, but we need to work together. One
Work
of us,
together?
yeah, we need to work together. One
Okay.
of us, we both need to get up on top of the baby gate, and one of us has to push the door, and the other has to pull down on the lever.
Ooh, can I try and bid on like a way to use my skills to like open the gate?
Bring it.
I'm gonna try and use my A in computer science to like solve the P equals NP inequality and bend the dimensions. I don't know, I'm pulling stuff out of my ass right now.
That's the point of this game.
Make a Lorentz contracture. That's a physics thing about going too fast, and so you bend the space time around you to basically touch one of us. And I don't know. That's kind of my bid.
Okay.
Yes. I want to see if we can dimensionally poof around the gate. Because I'm not
Eventually
sure.
poof around the gate.
Dimensionally poof.
I'm not
around.
sure as
Wow.
be able to like get all the way up to where we need to with the lever.
Okay. I will. We'll put something out.
Or I could use my laser to make few the dimensions.
Or
Or few to get rid of the gate, to make it disappear or make it
Yeah,
fall
that's
over.
true. Which one do we like better? I'm open to either. Let's do
Well,
the
the
laser.
laser is
Yeah.
not contested. The other one is. So maybe you want to decide based on your
Yeah,
hand.
I'll do the laser. My hand's not looking so hot.
Okay.
Oh no, that is that's a 9.
And also a 9.
Okay, but it's
That's
a success.
though.
It is, yeah.
Um,
So I guess we poof over the gate, but since it's like it's a success, but I think I it's like apparition in the Harry Potter universe. I accidentally leave like I don't apparate enough of my fur, I guess. So I'm a little bit like
Oh, so you're like shaved kitten.
So maybe what happens is that you come out without your fur, and I have all of your fur on me.
So remind me what the goal was. You were trying to be beyond the were you trying to go into the room?
Yeah, I was
Or-
trying to get the gate open.
Oh, you're trying to get the gate open, but not the door?
Oh, there's a gate and a door. Darn
There's a
it.
gate and
Well,
the
you
door.
could say that what you're because like your laser was
You
a
got a
success.
success.
You
It
could
can
have
do any of those. I'm
teleported
just-
us
Yeah, I
all
get into the
in
room.
there.
I get into the room.
Okay, did you bring the rest of us with you?
Maybe about one of us.
Okay.
Not all of us.
Who'd you bring?
So, which one of you wants to come along via dimensional shifting ride?
Midnight wants to come along. Also,
Sure.
Midnight got the information.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, so you go into this room, and the first thing you notice is that there are no lights on, and even for kitties, it's a little hard to see. So you can't quite tell. There's like maybe ominous figures in the room.
Oh no.
Ooh. So, the hair on Midnight's back is starting to like puff up.
Mhm.
Like,
I don't have any.
There
fur.
is a little you can see a little, there's a tiny crack, like, there might be a shade, like there's a window and there's a shade drawn, but not quite all the way. You can see there's a little bit of sunlight sort of slip.
I'm going to say that Midnight sees a string. She's like, oh, a string, and forgets that there's something scary and jumps onto the string.
It jumps onto the string.
And
what effect would you like the string to have?
let's say to have it pull open a curtain so that the sunlight floods in.
Okay. That sounds like a contested roll, or a contested
I'm gonna
bid, or whatever it is in this game. I'm going to do this because it's more fun to succeed. Okay. You'll have succeeded either way.
I've
Okay.
got a black 9.
A winner is you.
So I'm going to say that that Midnight jumps up onto the string and pulls it, and the curtains open wide open, and there are non-moving human figures and a giant machine and lots of strings and fabrics laying around.
Oh.
That they're like, they don't look, they look like humans, but they're not moving at all, and they even have clothes on them, but they don't have any feet. Like, what is this strange human figure? So Midnight decides to rub up against the metal pole that is holding up this human figure to see if maybe it will move and pet her. But nothing happens.
Okay. So outside, Fern will call, "Hey, are you in there? What's going on?" And she'll start scratching at the door.
There's some weird humans in
Gilly
here.
sees a bunch of round circular elastic objects and starts chasing them and gets distracted. Hair ties.
So Midnight realizes that the strange human figures aren't going to pet her. So she turns her attention to the strange machine. There are strings hanging from it. So she's going to try and jump up onto the machine.
Jump up onto the machine.
Let's say there's a chair there, a bench there, and tries to jump up onto the bench and then onto the machine.
Okay.
And there's a little black thing on the ground with a cord coming out of it. And let's say that she tries to jump on that first to get onto the bench.
Okay, you're making it kind of complicated, so I think at this point we bid.
Yes, let's bid.
Okay. It's like if you're just gonna jump on the thing, I figure cats can do that, but multi-stage jumps and such.
Oh, I only have 4 cards. Can I get another card first?
Sorry about that.
And out of character, if you can't figure it out, it's a sewing machine with a bench, and the little black box is like the foot pedal that'll make it start sewing.
Did you put your card out? I can't quite tell.
I did put my card out. And
oh, well, this is a fun one to lose.
Yes, this is a fun one to lose.
So yes, you absolutely land squarely on that black thing with the tail coming out. Looks like a computer mouse, but on the floor. It's very strange. And the moment you do that, like, you hear this loud, like right over your head. It's like weird and terrifying. It is very strange. And rather than jump elegantly onto the machine, you end up doing this crazy jump straight up the air, cartwheely kind of thing, and plunk back down.
Yeah. So Cheeseball had his ear pressed against the door and hears this and like jumps back.
What's going on out there? Not in there. There's a monster that's attacking them.
There's
Cheeseball,
a
we need
monster
to
and a
save them.
hunter.
We have to save them, Cheeseball.
Oh, what do we do? What do we do? How do we save them?
I don't know.
But just as soon as it started, as soon as Midnight falls down into a pile of yarn, the sound stops, and Midnight is instantly like taken by the fact that she is surrounded by yarn. So she digs into it and plays with all of the pieces that are flying out and makes a mess of it.
We have to save them. What does my laser do? What does your laser do?
My laser controls the litter box. So yeah, I'm
Litter
gonna use my laser.
Gosh. Maybe make the laser box like appear under something.
Yeah, let's see how this goes.
Oy.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a high one.
Oh,
Oh, there
okay.
we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. So
17.
yeah. So I use my laser and I teleport the two of you that were in the mystery room into the litter box in the kitten room. So you go from, and you can bring that yarn along as well, if you would like to grab it as you get teleported.
Yes.
So I teleport
So
you
I'm
both.
already like mixed up in it, so it pulls the yarn out too.
Yeah, and I go running around into the
So-
kitten room to the litter box, and I see you both in there. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness you're safe. I heard the monster in there, and so I pulled you out of there.
But look at what we found in there. Look at all of this string. And then Midnight like jumps into the air playfully, and the yarn goes everywhere, all over the kitten room, and she jumps
the yarn
into
get
all the
transported?
toys.
The yarn gets transported back. Sorry.
To the point where everything is knotted up with yarn in the entire kitten room.
Fern is delighted.
And that might be a good spot for scene
Yeah,
end.
would you like the scene to end here, or would you like some consequences in the form of Carol?
We could have that be the next.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Scene.
All right. So we've got 3 lasers that went off there. That are
Yeah,
gonna need to
I was
be
tempted to do mine too.
replenished. So actually, while I do that, let me first put out the. Oh yeah. The 4 for our class captain to evaluate while I reset everyone else's lasers. So we got 3 bad cards and a good one.
I don't feel like anyone did badly here. I mean, the bad things that happened were also accompanied by good things that happened. So, well, I feel like Gilly Toes had the
biggest success.
the biggest win.
Got us into the mysterious room.
I feel like my wins are like more sense of like good cards rather than like good storytelling.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, as you can tell, I'm not really sure we should be thinking of winning and losing in terms of this game. This is more
Yeah.
of whether we're all embracing the silliness with mostly
Yeah.
satisfying period.
We're all winning. I guess being kittens.
We're all winning.
There's like multiple instances of teleportation in this round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel like anyone did anything that deserves a big bad. Like Midnight had some oopses, but she also was like the one who figured out some of the room stuff, and yeah.
Sort of neutral there. It balances out.
Yeah, I was looking for like a near zero card for Midnight, and there just aren't any. So I think that's all I want to give out. I believe you guys can choose to give one to me if you wish. To Fern.
Yep. I don't think Fern deserves a bad card like those.
Yeah.
No.
Personally.
Okay.
All right. I'll get rid of those. Okay, so it is class captain choosing time. So I'll go ahead and bid that Carol hears a commotion and comes to sort out what happened.
I mean, that's sort of what we were expecting to happen. I'm fine with going along with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
me-
All right. So get myself another card there. All right. So, yeah, so just after the miraculous rescue of Midnight and Gilly Toes, we hear, so this is, I think this is still like that same day. So Carol and Maisha have been hanging out while all this went on. But Carol hears this commotion, and so we hear her say, I'm sorry, I think those kittens are getting into trouble again. Let me go make sure that there's no problem. And we hear her coming down the hallway.
Quick, clean it all up. We have to clean it all up.
How do you clean it all up? It's all
I don't
tangled
know.
and everything.
I don't know.
Would you like to bid to see if you can get the yarn straightened out?
I think I want to go straight for the laser.
Okay.
Cause this is big and dramatic. Oh, this is gonna go badly.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Only minor badly.
that's a
So,
fail.
Okay.
So the goal was like, in Cinderella, I was going to invite some chipmunk friends to like help us clean us all up. But
yeah. Okay. So I think in the process of trying to, so this is actually really nice wool yarn that the girl was using for a special project. And so in the process of trying to straighten it out, you actually, with your laser, end up essentially crocheting it back into a sheep.
like an alive sheep.
Yeah, like you crochet it back together into a sheep. And the sheep kind of looks around at the kittens and says, bah, and runs out the door. And so Carol is walking toward, and this like sheep made out of her own yarn, and I imagine it's like some really unnatural color, right? Like bright green or something. The sheep goes running by, and she's like, "What on earth is happening here?" And she grabs it, and so she's got this like yarn sheep under her arm, and she comes into the room and sees all of us there.
oh,
And
it's like a little sheep, not like a
like,
sheep-sized sheep.
I mean, it's as big as you could make from the amount of yarn you had,
Okay.
And she says, you kittens, I know you're behind this somehow. And the sheep goes, bah. And she like grabs the string, like pulls it and like unravels the sheep and starts rolling the yarn back up.
I love how she just takes like a new sentient being, like in stride. There's,
When you deal with kittens, you get used to all kinds of weird stuff.
uh-huh.
She probably thought it was animatronic,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some toy that got loose.
Yeah.
So what does Carol do next after that? Does she try to get us back into to have a bath? Or are we all
Yeah.
clean at this point?
So I think that, yeah, she says it really is kitten bath time. We need to get you kittens washed up. Let me go say goodbye to Maisha, and I'm coming back for you. And so she walks out and closes the door behind her, and we can hear vaguely. We can't make out exactly everything they're saying, but it sounds like she's saying her goodbyes to Maisha and kind of sending her out the door, newly cured of her cat allergy. So buys us just a little time before she comes back for bath time.
Wait, Maisha went without Fern?
I mean, you want to try to go with her?
Epilogue would be like,
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to wait until the end of the play session, and
Sure,
that was going to be
Yeah.
part of the.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
you could probably try to run after her though.
Mhm.
Although the door is closed, you have to
The
figure
door
out
is
to get out.
closed now.
Yeah. Fern would happily go snug up to Maisha one last time, except, yeah, how do I get out of this room? She claws at it. It doesn't work. Never does.
So Midnight goes up to the door and tries to push it, but with her head, but it doesn't budge. And then she's like, we found out how to open. Maybe if I push it with my head and one of you jumps onto the handle, maybe we can get it open.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I'll push it with my head.
Sounds like a bidding situation.
Okay.
So do we both need to contribute? Is that
Yeah.
one of the combined
ones? So each of you will bid, and I'll make one bid against you. And if either of you beat it, the project as a whole that you're trying to do will succeed.
Okay, I put a card out.
Okay. Let's see. How hard do I want to make this? Okay. So flip it. All right. So you two succeeded.
We both beat it.
Yep. So describe to me how you get this door open.
So Midnight pushes her head up against the door and pushes with all her might.
And Fern takes a good look at it. She hunkers down. She swishes her tail in that hunter pose. And then she takes off and she runs. And she uses Midnight's head as a springboard and jumps up and grabs the handle and dangles.
Angus from it.
And she's got it just long enough. And then she drops it, but the door has managed to swing open by then.
And Midnight tumbles out into the hallway. The door is
amazing. No doors can defeat us.
And I think that Brigadier Fuzzykins is right there as you come flying out the door. And he says, "Excellent work, kittens. The bath time is fast approaching."
Is he like a general? Still,
Yes.
is he like a pseudo-militaristic?
Yes. So hang on, I'm having issues with my own cat here. Oh, I was gonna pick him up and show him, but he doesn't want to get picked up. He probably just wants to chase a hair tie, don't you? Don't you? Oh, there you go. Okay, sorry. cat issues. All right. Okay, so you've gotten the door open, and Brigadier Fuzzykins has complimented your work. But he points out that the water is running in the bathtub, that she is filling it up, getting ready to wash some kittens.
So do we want to concentrate on chasing Maisha out, or do we want to try to like stop the bath from happening?
I mean, if we're chasing Maisha out, and Maisha isn't trying to give us a bath.
Yeah, I feel like it's less about chasing Maisha out because she's kind of leaving, as like we could try to go with her.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be one way of avoiding the bath, would be to
I like that.
go with Maisha.
I like that.
Is that
Yeah,
Gilly
let's do
Toes'
that.
proposal?
Yes, I propose that we I realize that in some simple kitten logic that there's a bath human and a non-bath human, and I like the
Mhm.
non-bath human better.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay.
I like
I'm
this
all
plan.
for it.
So let's all run at the same time. She can't pick us all up. Carol can't pick us all up.
Okay. So if we're all running at the same time, I think what we'll do is everybody make your bid, and then I'll draw a random one as the counter bid, since Cheeseball will also be making a break for it.
Where is Carol in relation to us right now?
She's in the bathroom,
So
right?
she's in the bathroom, filling the tub
I see.
and getting like the kitten shampoo ready and stuff.
She doesn't know the door is open to the
I
kitten
see,
room,
okay.
Right. Okay, so we've got all of our bids, then this one is our random.
Hey.
I've
Okay.
got a black 6.
Okay.
What's the last one?
Okay.
Ooh, we succeed.
So we have one person who was with the red 5.
I had a red 5.
Okay. So 3 of us elude Carol's grasp. And so Fern, I think that Carol is about to grab you when, let's see, what would be a good distraction. I think she sees some more of those bugs that were there from earlier. They're in this part of the house. And she stops to go try to take care of that issue, and that allows you to get away. So I think that big counts for being able to like get past Carol and like get out the door to where Maisha is. And so Maisha, so this is a house that's in a relatively dense neighborhood, and there's street parking. And so Maisha is, as we get out there, is getting into her car. It's a very small car, and she's just put the leftovers of her cake in there, and she's getting ready to get in as we come streaming out of the house towards her. She has not yet seen us.
Do we want to try and sneak in her car, or just like out?
Yeah, let's jump into the back seat.
Oh, like Toy Story style.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say this is
Look,
a
Maisha's inside this giant monster. Let's go save her.
Yeah.
They probably don't know what a car is.
I want to
Right.
try and use my laser to perhaps. What can I make for you in this situation? I can make our like. Isn't there a word for like reflectiveness of an object? Like
Albedo.
that's what it is.
Okay.
I want to try and make our albedo few to make us invisible.
Okay.
Does that even work? I'm sorry, I'm not
That's
a physicist. I'm a
within the
statistician.
logic of this game. That works just fine.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why not? Um, okay, no pause. Come on, edit token. Sorry, I have like this really wonky trackpad that's like super mushy. Oh no.
Ooh.
Oh.
12. No, that works. Just
Ooh.
barely, I think.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
you got it.
just barely a positive.
Just barely. Wow.
But you got it. So yeah.
So yeah, we are invisible cats. But I feel like we're only like I didn't reduce our albedo to 0, so we're like only semi-transparent. We look like ghosty kittens.
Ghost cats.
Yeah, I feel like we look like ghosty kittens.
Because
right
that's
now.
not creepy at all.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's not enough to attract her attention. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I could have. I'm not really good at storytelling, so I could use some help. I come up with zany concepts, but I'm generally kind of bad at like resolving them. So, I need a narrative help.
No, I think that makes sense. That we are effectively invisible. That Maisha is not going to notice us as we all pile into the back of the car.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's in her trunk that we like get in? What does Maisha drive?
Seems like one of those smart car things. Which is
Yeah.
like a little. There's like a little area in the back where you can get into it.
So it's like just big enough for us then.
Just big enough for kittens.
Yeah, it's just big enough, and she's got maybe like her gym bag is back there and stuff like that.
Ooh,
Yeah, I guess
bags.
why don't we curl up into her gym bag?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think that's convenient because I think she's not headed directly home. She is headed to the gym right after visiting Carl. So, we're hiding in the gym bag and we hear the car stop, we hear the back open, and she picks up the gym bag, slings it on her shoulder, and walks into the local like Planet Fitness.
Oh no.
And that's a good place to end that scene.
Is it Pizza Tuesday in the Planet Fitness?
That's
It totally is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. So
How do we end up here?
I will say I've played this game a lot and never ended up at the gym before. So okay, so cards.
What's the weirdest place you have ended up in previous games?
I mean, we've been to like alternate dimensions and there was one time when the kittens were watching Mad Max on TV and thought that was what outside was like, and that's where the humans had gone when they went off to work, and finally got outside, and it turned out that actually was true, and they were living in like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing. So.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let me look at this. So I think I'm gonna give that black 8 to Gilly Toes because this whole thing of sneaking off with Maisha was your idea, and so far it hasn't backfired on us. So far it hasn't backfired on us. And let's see. Anyone else do anything?
Oh, we got the door open, and
that's true. Yeah, you two got the. Because who was the mastermind behind that? Was that Midnight?
Was Midnight.
That was Midnight.
Okay, so you can have the black 5, and I will not inflict the.
I will replace
red card on Fern.
Red 6.
All right. And then, if anyone thinks that Cheeseball deserves a red ace or 2.
No.
All right, so get rid of those. And it's class captain time as we get hauled into the gym.
I might
Sure.
actually play class captain for once. But I don't really have good cards. My proposal is that it's Pizza Tuesday in the gym. And
All of a sudden, there was very loud sound. Did everyone else hear that?
Yeah, some random feedback there, but okay. But so okay, so Christina's
sorry.
volunteering for
I
class
guess
cap.
my idea is that, you know, if you've ever been to Planet Fitness, there are Pizza Tuesdays every month, and where there's just like a bunch of pizza at the entrance. And I think the kittens want some of that pizza, but we want to like also go home with Maisha. So we want, like, we're hungry after all of our hijinks. And so we want to try and make off with some of the pizza, but still like
We're
not be
zipped
noticed.
inside of the bag at first, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, she's gonna
that's my
unzip it to get her gym clothes out.
Oh yeah, and we can smell the pizza, and we're gonna go off towards the smell. Are we
Yeah.
still ghosts?
No, I think the effects of the lasers are temporary. So I think we're normal.
Okay.
I will bid as well, mostly because I want a demo card. But yeah, so there we are at the gym, and I think in my case we would have adventures at the aquatic center.
Okay. Let me. That's good. It's showing 4 cards in my count, but I only see 3 on my hand. Anyway, it's okay. I have an invisible card somewhere. So this is my bid. The 3. Oh, okay.
All right.
I actually kind of like the aquatic center one better, though. So
You
I'll let you be
can-
class captain if you want.
I mean, you can.
Well, you run it with the aquatic center. That's fine.
Yeah, you can adapt that idea into yours.
Okay. I think maybe the pizza isn't the end goal, but we definitely. I don't know how we end up at the aquatic center.
Well,
I
maybe
don't
that's
know.
what she went to do. She went to swim some laps.
Okay, maybe that's where Maisha went, but maybe
Okay.
our goal is pizza.
Yeah, they could have pizza night at the aquatic center too.
Sure,
Yeah.
we can do that.
I was imagining a gym which also had like some lap lanes and stuff like that. So.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Okay, so I guess the scene can start. We are Maisha arrives at the gym and she takes the bag out and into the locker room to change. So she puts the bag down on a locker bench, and we're pretty light, so I don't think she notices like the difference in like the shape of the bag or cat fur or like any signs of kittens. So she she gets to her locker and she puts the bag down, she unzips something, but then she like turns and goes to start spinning her locker combo. And we see a chance to like break for it, and we like hop out of the bag and like run to some rendezvous point that's out of her sight.
Are we like a little disoriented at this point? We've been swung around in a bag.
Yeah, totally. We're like totally disoriented, but we're also like hungry and we kind of need to pee a little. So like it's kind of like a bio stop, but for kittens in a gym.
Cheeseball has one of Maisha's old gym socks on his tail.
And Midnight is like looking around trying to see if she can recognize anything, but she's a little worried, like, because nothing looks familiar. It doesn't look like a house at all.
Yeah, maybe nothing.
But she smells something good.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. What do you smell?
I smell something good, guys. Let's go towards the smell.
You smell like
It's a good
anchovy?
smell.
Does it smell like fish? I don't know, anchovy are your pizza topping, right?
Yeah.
There's definitely some meat, like some pepperonis or something.
Okay. And there's definitely some greasy cheese.
Fern is delighted to not have anyone's paw in her eye anymore, because like getting jumbled around in that gym bag was not great. And she was investigating some discarded towels when she too starts to get a sniff of this interesting smell. And since she is good at knowing where she is, she says that.
Okay. Gilly looks like Gilly has come to trust Fern's sense of knowledge and direction, so is keen to follow Fern.
Mhm.
Should we bid to
So
see if Fern actually knows the correct way to go?
Sure, let's bid.
Sure.
Now I bid from my hand.
Right.
Oh.
And so
what grade do you have in geography?
Me, C.
I have an A.
I have an A
Yeah.
too, but you were the one who proposed it. So
so
Fern should be, yeah.
yeah, so here's 2 extra cards, Fern. So if you would like to use one of those instead of what's in your hand, you may. Or actually,
so
here, the way
do I take them, or how does it
yeah,
work?
so actually here, let me do this a different way.
Mhm.
Again, this is the first time I've tried playing this game through Roll20, so let me actually deal you 2 more cards. So then they'll be in your hand for you to look at, and then when this little bidding thing is done, any of those new cards that I just gave you that you don't use, toss them onto the table as well, and we'll delete them.
Okay.
Sorry. Here we go.
Fern absolutely knows exactly
yeah,
where this is.
my hand is pretty terrible. I think I'm out. I have an invisible card somewhere because I have 2 in my hand and 3 in my counter. So maybe.
Okay, well, let me just give you 3 so that you'll have 5 cards that you can actually see.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so strange. It's like it's animating as if it were 3, like 2 rows of 3. So my computer just must be not cooperating.
Oh no, actually, I bet I know what this is. So when you set up a custom deck in Roll20, you're making the cards. There's no way that I can figure to delete a card, and so I accidentally double hit creating a card at one point. So there actually is a phantom card in the deck. So you just must have had the phantom card in your hand. So I realized that now. And I hadn't realized it would show up as literally nothing. I thought it might show up as a blank card or something. So you had the phantom card, so I gave you an extra one, so we'll keep you at 6.
Okay,
so you have 5
fine.
actual cards plus the phantom one.
Yeah, okay. I'm playing on a machine with 4 gigs of RAM and it always glitches out. So
yeah, no, but in this case, it actually wasn't your fault. It was my fault.
Yeah, that's like my laptop.
I'm playing on a Surface Go with nothing in terms of not anything. So
yeah.
Okay. So we do find the paper. It sounds like
has an unerring
Describe how
sense
we
of where
get
the pizza is, and so she is completely on it. She luckily it's not too far away, and the humans seem to be fairly distracted with what they're doing. So, and no one's really expecting to see kittens in the gym locker room, so they don't get caught, even though Fern at least is not particularly trying to hide. She's very focused on this pizza. So they duck through this entryway, and it's like the pizza has been set aside and it's about to be served, but they haven't the staff hasn't gotten to that point yet. So it's just kind of on deck there, and it's on a table and it smells amazing.
Oh man!
So are the boxes closed or open?
Let's say the boxes. It's not like cardboard boxes. It's like paper, like Little Caesars used to do. So you could probably tear them open fairly easily.
Kitten claws can do that pretty easily.
And are we trying to get the cardboard? Are we trying to get the a slice, a whole box?
So I think Fern's plan is just to jump on top of this pizza and start eating.
Okay. Yep.
Midnight thinks that's a good idea too.
Sure. Yeah, I think that we're exhausted from like planning a lot of other things that our minds are just kind of like, food sounds good and like consequences be damned. We're just gonna go swimming with the pizza. I kind of like this.
Okay.
So Midnight jumps up onto the pizza and pulls off a pepperoni and eats it.
Fern experiences a mushroom. She can't quite decide how she feels about it, but it's covered with cheese grease, so she ultimately decides that was okay. And then she starts licking more of the pizza.
Yeah, licking off the grease.
Licking the grease off the top of the pizza is mostly what she's doing.
Cheese ball's just in the pizza.
Has cheese all become one with the cheese?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, you can't really tell where the cat begins and the pizza ends at this point with cheese ball.
I think Gilly finds those little like things in the center, the plastic things in the center of the pizza, and decides to play with that instead of eat. And I think I think we're all like purring and very clearly like so occupied that we don't notice the gym manager come up. It's behind us. Does someone want to propose a solution or an action? What happens when we when one of us notices? I think that the next thing should be someone notices the GM and then tries to change something about what we're doing.
Uh-huh. So I think
I'm
cheese
gonna
ball.
have
Oh, go ahead.
Midnight use her laser.
Oh.
Midnight's gonna use her laser to figure out what could distract what could distract this human from us. So I'm going to flip my card. Oh, that's not great. Still positive? No. What? Is that a 0?
That's a 6.
That's 3, I think.
It's 3.
Yeah.
It's minus 3.
2. No, black is positive.
Black is positive.
Right. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it's a 2. Barely, just barely positive.
Mm-hmm.
So, what could distract the human?
What if the human becomes?
And this is just about. I mean, this is clue, which is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's just a very low one. So I know that that something behind the human could distract him enough for us to get away. So what is any? So I say, what if we can get something behind him? Like, throw something behind him and he'll turn around.
Like in Meowies or something?
Well, I don't think the humans can understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
Fern will use her laser. Apparently we need a distraction. Okay. Surely this laser will work sometime. Oh, it's on this last card. No, not today. It will not.
So it's your laser again.
-4. Tell us, Christina.
So what's your?
So the plan was to have some sort of. Okay, Fern is still just a kitten, so she probably isn't terribly clever. Some sort of large, improbable animal appear behind the person. That would be kind of distracting.
Okay.
Because, if there's a zebra there, they probably wouldn't pay attention to the kittens.
Right. I think Fern becomes a zebra, like a tiny kitten-sized zebra. Maisha just like looks around and goes, "Uh-oh."
Mhm.
So
I think at this point, though, the human probably thinks that, what the hell is going on? Like, what am I seeing? I'm seeing things.
can I use my laser as class captain?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because like, what if we just feud the human away?
You could do that.
You can try that.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm abusing my laser, bending the dimensions.
Lasers are there
and
to
other
No.
things.
be used.
No,
This
this is meant to be
Okay.
as whatever wacky thing you can think of with it.
Okay. Positive.
So it's 8,
Uh,
2,
2 and
Okay.
all right.
7.
You made it.
So I use few, and I make the human go from 1 human to 0 humans. But by conservation of human, like the law of conservation of humans, he like appears in another Planet Fitness.
All the Planet Fitnesses are linked interdimensionally.
Yeah, they're quantum linked or something like that. I don't know.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
great. So now we've got a tiny zebra and
Yes!
2 other kittens.
Yeah, Fern's kind of distracted by the fact that she has hooves now.
Oh.
So Midnight continues to eat pepperonis because pepperonis.
I think at some point we noticed that Maisha has like we you know, she's done swimming, and we start to see her like from wherever the room the pizzas are, and we see that she's like going back to her gym bag, and we realize, oh no, our ride
Oh
is
no!
like getting out of here, so
we
we
gotta
should
get
probably
back
make
in
our way
that
to
gym
the
bag.
pizza. Yeah.
So Midnight jumps off the pizza table, and I've also got a high geography score. Let's say run back where the gym bag is and see if we use the power of geography to jump into the correct spot on the bag before she gets there.
Okay.
So I get 2 extra cards, right?
Yep. So I just gave you 2 extras there.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So now I have to add a card in. Oh,
Yeah, so
shit,
you
sorry.
bid the counter bid as the class captain.
I see. I'm sorry. I'm a bad class captain. I think I put it behind the deck accidentally. But
No, it's over to the right.
Oh, it
It's
is.
over to the right. Just scroll over to the
Oh,
right.
there it is. Okay.
Okay.
It's a red 7. Sorry. So you win.
Okay, so Midnight makes a beeline for the open zippered bag and makes a dive into just the right location, and that gives a model for the other kittens.
I think having seen an example, Gilly follows suit.
Cheeseball
Fern
follows
is
as
having a
well.
little more trouble now that they don't have paws anymore. So they jumped down gracefully and landed in this sort of whoa, but they're starting to figure it out. So they sort of gallop after you. Which is not nearly so subtle as quiet little kitten paws. But what can you do?
So I think Maisha notices this and turns in the direction of Fern and is like, "What the hell?" And like she's simultaneously like, "Aw," but also, "What the hell?"
So
well, if the gig she is up. I will go and snuggle Maisha.
Okay.
So, Cheeseball follows after, but he's got an entire pizza upside down on top of him, just like leaving this greasy streak
he's just
along the
feet
gym
underneath his
floor.
pizza.
Yeah, I think his ears are poking up between the slices.
So I guess he doesn't make it into the gym bag, or even if he cheese ball.
So it probably the zebra thing should probably be wearing off at this point, right?
Yeah, hopefully. I think when
Maybe she rubs her eyes and is like, "What am I seeing?"
Yeah, maybe she, and then she fades away now, and then she recognizes Fern from the house.
It's like, oh,
Yeah. A kitten that I'm not like. Did she notice that her allergies were gone when the
Yeah,
when the
she
whole
knows her
magic
allergies
happened?
are
yeah,
gone,
yeah,
and she
she
thinks
did.
it's all Fern.
Okay.
So she knows who Fern is. She knows that
Okay.
Fern is the magical kitten.
Yeah, I think that maybe she picks up Fern. She's like, oh, poor kitty, and she thought she probably needs to go. I think she needs to go home because she was seeing zebras instead of kittens. And I think Cheeseball is like manages to like eventually shake off the pizza, get in the bag, but also needs a bath again.
Yeah. He is
I think we all
covered in
legit need
grease.
that
So
at
when she
this point.
He's got one pepperoni as like a little hat now.
Yes. Oh. I think that's a good place.
and Midnight's all greasy.
Yeah, and Gilly's just fine. Just she brought a souvenir anchovy for the road.
All right.
You want to end this in?
And so does
Go ahead.
does Maisha realize that she has to take the kittens home, or
I think
take
she's
Fern
only
home, or-
noticed Fern, and I think that might be like that could be an object for next scene. I think the scene can end with her like recognizing Fern and holding Fern, but the other 3 kittens hanging out in the gym bag.
Oh yeah,
So she's in possession of 1 kitten and in knowing possession of 1 kitten, but really actually she has 4 kittens.
And so scene end.
All right.
Okay, then we draw a card.
Yeah, and we had 3 lasers go off.
Yeah. Okay, so there are the cards to hand out.
All right. So I think the 10 should go to Fern. We're trying. Becoming a zebra is a little traumatizing. But in the end, you got back to Maisha and you provided a distraction for the other 3. So that can go to you, Fern. And then I'm trying to think. Midnight, you found the.
Thought of a potential idea for a distraction, and then got us back into the bag.
Okay, that's good. I like Midnight getting the 7. I don't think anyone did anything bad. So I mean, Cheeseball has some style going on. So, but I don't think anyone deserves a red card. So I'm not going to distribute those.
So what did I lose? Oh. I lost a black 8 for a black 7.
Oops. Yeah, that's always the catch when you've used your laser. You don't know what you're trading for. But
Right.
All right. So
I'm thinking maybe the next scene should be the
I'm
last
good with
scene.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am inclined to bid, and I don't know if people want this or not, but it's what I'm thinking of bidding. That Maisha, of course, knows that she's got Fern at this point, but she has some sort of pressing engagement at home such that she cannot return the cats right away. so we can have a minor Maisha's apartment adventure.
Yeah, and hope to, like, maybe we can end it where they all are discovered and brought back home, but then the epilogue.
Right. Like who goes where.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay, so I don't think anyone's going to oppose that.
Nope.
I think
Me?
you're frozen. No, Marley.
Yeah, she looks
Yeah.
frozen. Give it a second.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and we've lost Marley entirely. Let's give her a minute. Let's see if she comes back.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
My internet.
Okay.
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 Sorry, I had just pitched going to Maisha's apartment, and then I didn't hear anything after that.
Yep. So
Oh,
I don't think anybody's bidding against you.
I don't think
So
anyone's going to oppose that. Yeah.
take it away.
Okay.
So I will be.
Oh,
in
this is the last
scene.
one.
Yep.
This is the last one. This is not a great hand for that. Actually, kind of ditch one
Oh, and
of
I
my
still
high
have
cards.
I still have 6 in mine. Do I just discard one? Because I had the 7 for the geography thing.
Yeah. Discard the extra one that you got dealt that you didn't end up using.
How do I?
Okay, so
Okay, there.
Maisha picks up Fern. Is like, oh my cute little baby, how'd you get here? How'd you get here? And she was totally about to, she's all wet because she just went swimming. And she's like, I needed to go. Why does she need to be home? She needs to be home because she has groceries being delivered. And they won't drop them off unless she's home. So she's got the gym bag over one arm and she's got the kitten in the other arm, and she's like holding up her phone and she's like dialing Carol, and she's like, you're not going to believe this, but somehow that one cat followed me to the gym, and she's fine, but I have to go deal with the groceries, so it's going to be like another hour before I can bring her back. And we hear from the other end, and she's like, I know. And it's like, I like this kitten a lot anyway, so I kind of see what she does, how she does in my house anyway. So yeah, so I'll just take her for an hour and they'll bring her home. Don't worry about it. And Carol's like, oh no, and she's like, no, it'll be fine. So more fool her. So anyway, we all get carted back into the car and headed back to Maisha's house. Maisha lives in an apartment building. So not as much space as we're used to, but that's all okay. She still has she parks in the underground garage and goes and takes the elevator, and she still has the kitten, and she's got, and the gym bag and stuff like that. And she goes into her apartment and flips on the light and, sets down the gym bag and sets down Fern. And she's like, "Oh, you probably need, what do cats need? It's only been it's only an hour. Probably nothing really. Well, here, let me get you some water." And she goes into the kitchen to like make a pet, to fill a bowl with water to put on the ground. So the kittens are now alone. So 3 of them are in a bag.
Yeah, the ones that are in the bag are definitely disoriented again and don't know where the zip. Midnight doesn't know where to find the zipper and is like scratching at the bag.
Okay. Well, Fern will help you out and open the bag because playing the scene out with 3 kittens in the bag is not actually that fun. So let us say you just managed to get that done.
Yeah. So the bag opens and they tumble out.
They still smell like pizza, I bet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So she has a
Cheeseball
fairly
leaves a
tiny.
big greasy streak on the floor.
Yeah. So this is actually, a fairly clean apartment because it doesn't usually have pets in it. So this is the kind of apartment with knickknacks and things like that, and with a clean floor. And you are already starting to goop it up
No.
with your pizza-ness.
I think like as a kitten I'm really sleepy and I want to go find like somewhere cozy to like, knead and like go turn into a kitten donut.
Okay.
But like I think so I'm gonna try and do that, but like I don't think it's something. I think that's like not a laser thing. Like finding a corner of a house is not a particularly like, I don't know, majestic feat. But I think in the process of patting, I leave like little kitten grease paw prints that I don't remember to clean up.
Fair enough. Are you just looking for like anywhere cozy? I think that's uncontested. If you want
Yeah,
like a
I
really
just want
special
something
place, like the
like
master bedroom pillow or something like that. Okay, yeah.
I think I see like the couch. Like Maisha has a couch, right? And
Sure,
yeah,
this
she probably
couch.
has like a throw pillow. And so like I find the throw pillow and I'm exhausted.
Oh, it's
and so
very nice. It's got fringe, that throw pillow.
Ooh, yeah. And so like I start batting at the fringe, but then I like get my claw stuck in the fringe. And so instead I just have to like, kind of like get it unstuck, but then I'm just like, I give up. And so I like jump up onto the pillow and like flop over.
Okay.
So
you are sleeping in a very undignified position on the throw pillow.
Yeah, I'm very undignified. Like, all 4 paws up, start showing the
Midnight sees something sitting on a shelf that's or like the bottom tier of a bookcase, and it's well, Midnight doesn't know this, but it looks like little humans, but it's really anime figurines.
Okay.
Maybe they'll play with me. And starts pawing at them, and they fall over, and then she jumps back in shock.
Okay. How about Cheeseball?
So I think that Cheeseball gets out, kind of slides around greasily, and then just kind of lays down in like a food coma because he ate a lot of pizza. His little kitty belly is very full.
Oh, is it like distended?
Yeah, he is a round little kitty now.
Okay. Fern also ate a bunch, but no, actually she didn't eat a bunch. She was mostly about licking grease, so I think she is the one of us that actually has a bit of energy left. Let's see, what's she gonna do? Oh, she I think is gonna follow Maisha into the kitchen. And Maisha will it's like, oh, aren't you cute? And like gives her the bowl of water and is like scratching her ears, and Maisha scoops her up, and she's getting really good belly rubs, and then Maisha starts walking back into the living room where you all are. So any last minute changes before Maisha happens upon you all?
So Midnight lets out like a loud meow when she sees the anime figurines knock over, and so let's say that gets Maisha's attention.
Okay, that sounds fair. So Maisha comes back in, and her first reaction is like, whoa, because there's a howling cat near her stuffs. And oh my gosh, that one is actually really expensive. She had it on the bottom shelf, so if there was an earthquake, it wouldn't fall very far. And wow, okay, so she's like, ah. And she nearly drops Fern, but doesn't quite, and then like puts Fern down more gently. And what? How are you? And so she's like both like blathering at midnight about how are you even what the, and trying to pick up the figurines at the same time. And I think nearly trips over Cheeseball on the way, who has amazingly been in the exact path that she was going to walk, and then she's like with this and that, and then she glances over and she sees Gilly Toes as well. It's like, what are all these? How are you? How did you even? How are you here? And Carol, and she like picks up her phone and she's like trying to clean up anime figurines, and she's like, yeah, she seems less pleased with you than she did at Carol's house.
I'm guessing at this point Carol will probably come over to pick them up.
Well, at the moment she just like picked up the phone, so
Yeah.
we got some time either way. If you want to try and turn this around somehow, or just roll with it. This is your grand vacation of chaos, and then you're just like ship on the consequences later.
I think that Midnight remembers how Fern got Maisha to like her, so she goes up and purrs and rubs up against her leg.
Okay.
And maybe we should
Yeah, I
make
think
that
that's a bid because she's a little wound up at the moment. Okay.
Oh.
So yeah.
So yeah. So Maisha begins to calm down and realizes like, oh, these kittens really are cute. I can't stay mad at them. And then she reaches down and pets Midnight and realizes that she's not allergic to Midnight either. Like, she might not have realized that at first. That she might have just thought that she wasn't allergic to Fern, but like, oh, she's not allergic to any of these cats anymore.
Wow. Yeah, she's like, what is up with all these magic kittens? Because like these are the magic kittens. I'm suddenly not, and it was sudden too. Because like first I was sneezing and then I wasn't. This is all very strange. So yeah, she's like talking to you, and she's got to her. She's like, no, don't play with the figurines. No, you do not. No, you do not.
Does she notice me
so
out on the couch?
So she gets Carol on the phone, and she's still talking sweet to the cat. And she's like, okay, yeah. So it turns out I've got 4 of your kittens. Like, no, I'll just bring them all over in an hour. It's fine. The delivery person should be here anytime. Could you like count your cats and make sure that these are the only ones, just in case one of them? Okay, you found all the others? Okay, we're good. Okay, these 4. I will keep them here and like bring them home or something. I don't know. How do you transport cats? Can I just like put them in a bucket or something? Or yeah, I'll figure something out. Yeah. Okay.
Put them in a bucket.
So, yeah, Maisha like looks at you and she's like, and all 4 of you, and she's like, well, I don't know. I've never had cats before. What do we do? Yeah, anyone like to instruct?
There's fringes on the throw pillow, right?
There's absolutely fringe on the throw pillow. This is a house not prepared for cats at all.
Does Maisha set down Midnight?
Yeah, sure.
So Midnight's going to try and show her how to play.
Okay.
So Midnight runs over to the pillow and swipes at the fringe. And then she looks up at Maisha and is like, now your turn.
And how does Maisha respond to, I think that's a bid. Like, how does she feel about you messing with her furniture?
Oh, I need another card.
Yeah, I could use some cards too.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
None of
there we
these with the value I meant, but okay. I'll do that one. Okay.
I still win.
You still won, yeah. And I mean, she's had that pillow for a while, so she ultimately decides it's okay. And so she like picks it up and she doesn't get that you're trying to get her to bat at the fringe as well, but she's kind of like, she's holding it closer to you and then like pulling it away as you try and bat for it. And so she's like turning it into a game.
Oh, how cute.
And has mentally decided that this pillow is now a cat toy and it's all good. She did kind of dump Gilly Toes off of this pillow in order to play with it with Midnight, though. I don't know if Gilly has opinions on that particular matter.
I think I like scatter, I like scamper when I'm like rudely woken up, but I don't have opinions apart from being rudely woken up.
Mm-hmm. Anything maybe from his cheesiness before the delivery guy shows up?
I think that Cheeseball is kind of incapacitated by his current state.
Okay. Right. So right then the doorbell rings and Maisha trips over Cheeseball again. It's just this amazing thing. No matter where she tries to walk, Cheeseball is somehow in the way. But she goes and she answers the door and, and like buzzes the guy in and tells him what floor she's on and like leaves the door wide open because she is not used to having cats.
Oh.
So she just has it open because the delivery guy is going to bring a bunch of stuff in.
Midnight's ears perk up and she follows Maisha to the door and looks up. And so are they both distracted so that neither of them see Midnight coming?
Yeah, she's like, so she's pretty distracted. The delivery guy might be paying more attention. If you're trying to sneak out, that's going to be a bid.
I don't think Midnight's trying to escape into the hallway. I think that Midnight is trying to get the attention of this new human.
Okay. Right. So,
like trying to rub up against his legs.
Yeah. So the delivery guy is like totally used to like being, having pets around. So he actually has a little more clue about, trying to keep cats in and not out and stuff like that. So, so he's trying to, he'll like reach down and like scratch your ears a little bit, but fundamentally he has a job to do. So, wow, this person has just brought in so many paper bags. Like you can't even, there's like paper bags filled with food and it's just like amazing. Like, yeah, this guy came and put them down and then left and it was very strange. Maisha's house is apparently amazing.
So what about Gilly Toes? Does Gilly Toes want to play with the bags?
I think she tries to find a bag and then she tries to like find a quiet place to like curl up in the bag. But some cats like will go find a bag that's tipped over and like sit in it. So I think that's
one of these bags full of
Yeah.
bread. Very pilly.
yes. So I find a very nice fluffy pillow brioche. I mean, it's
Yes.
chocolate brioche.
You are now lying comfortably in a paper bag full of Wonder Bread. It was like this mattress. You have compressed it all.
That is what I think of it.
I think Midnight goes and jumps on top of a bag to hear the crinkling sound.
Maisha, I think, is starting to clue in that maybe there are some challenges to cat ownership that she has not previously considered. But she's not like, unhappy. She's just kind of like, yeah, there's like stuff going on here. And so she starts unloading the groceries, and while she's doing that, who's the other one? We have an NPC we haven't heard from yet. Professor Annie
Oh, Fern.
appears.
Oh.
Professor
Oh,
Annie, if you need a
yeah.
reminder, is the ghost cat.
It's a ghost.
Is it a ghost cat or a ghost human?
She's a ghost cat.
Ghost cat.
Okay.
Professor Annie, the ghost of a former resident who still appears for the kittens, a gruff exterior but a big softy inside. And she comes and she looks at you all. And she wants to know what exactly is going on here. This is not your house.
But look at all the bags, Professor Annie.
You should not be, you must, there's a certain code we do not break. We must always stay home and return to the school. You should not be lured by the temptation of paper bags. Back in my day when I was alive, we never would have fallen for such a trick.
But look, so Midnight bats at one of the bags and a
How
bunch
do you
of
plan
apples
to
roll
fix
out of it.
this? How do you plan to get back to school?
Let's say that Midnight thinks about this and decides to set off her laser to find out how to get back home.
Okay. Flip over your laser.
Ooh, that's good so far. Oh, I'm at 2, 3, 2.
Okay.
So I guess I figure out that the information is that Maisha will make sure that we get home, which. So I'll say that to Professor Annie. This human, she'll take us home. She'll make sure we get home. She's a good human.
Yes, I suppose she would. She did say something about that on the telephonic device. They're very strange now. They used to have dials. They were much more interesting. They had cords, not like these newfangled boxes.
Oh, the little squares that have the funny pictures on them. I like to bat at those.
Yes, they used to also have strings.
They make sounds.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I suppose. Seems a bit lazy to just wait for the human to fix your problems.
Lazy, but reasonable. You're a reasonable cat.
I suppose. And you, Cheeseball, what do you have to say for yourself?
I just want to go home and poop in my own litter box. I had a lot
It's true. There is no litter box here. Did you think of that before you embarked on this plan?
Does Cheeseball want to look for some place that's like a litter box?
I think the cheese ball is gonna kind of just hope that Maisha gets them back to Carol's house
Okay.
before he has to go.
And in the meantime, has the delivery guy disappeared?
Yeah, he really just like dropped off the bags and left. He was only there for like 3 minutes.
So the door is
Door's
closed.
not closed.
And I think Midnight even is starting to give out energy at this point. She just wants to take a nap. So
Okay.
maybe we could end this with all the kittens like coming together and like curling up next to each other and falling asleep.
Okay. Yeah, all the kittens make a nice little cuddle pile in the corner of the couch. And yeah, it turns out Maisha is not going to take you home. Carol is sufficiently worried that she comes over. And she comes and she is freaking out and very annoyed at you guys. And then she comes in and she looks at you and Maisha looks at you and the cuteness gets in both of their brains.
Radiates.
And they can't stay mad at you. Though
And
you do
like-
get baths when you get home. Because you are covered in pizza grease. Shall that be the
I think
scene?
it's a long time.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the scene.
Okay. Yeah, so for the epilogue, we just go around and each describe a little bit about our life after we graduate from the Knoll Street School for Wayward Kittens. So I think that after all this, Cheeseball really commits to learning how to clean himself because he's realized he can take his destiny into his own hands. He doesn't have to wait for the humans to bathe him, and he becomes a very clean cat, and he's adopted by a family that keep their house spotlessly clean, and he fits right in there.
I think that Midnight continues to be as curious as ever, and when she gets picked out by a family that has kids, and they know that that family knows how to deal with kids getting into everything, so it's baby proof. So despite being baby proofed, Midnight finds ways to get into everything anyway.
I think Gilly is eventually adopted by a family with children and is constantly terrorized by the children, but is just like a total like dunce anyway, and like that doesn't bother her, you know. But she finds her own way in life.
So
She finds the things that are simple and loving to her, and that's good enough for her. She lives in the moment.
So she's like the gentle cat who allows the kids to drag her
Yeah,
around.
she just lives in the moment. She's just a total scritch addict, and that's how she lives her life, just from one scritch to the next.
Yeah, I think Fern does in fact get adopted by Maisha.
Yeah.
Maisha was not really used to animals though, and so having a zoo kitten was maybe not the best choice for her. It all works out pretty well in the end though, because there she was trying to explain how a Cebu got into her hallway, and who came to pick it up turned out to be some other animal critters to talk to.
And I guess that's a game.
All right.
All right. Awesome. Thank you all so much for playing. I'm gonna stop the recording.